everybody, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell here. We are tracking tonight some colder air headed our way for the middle of the week, but before it gets here, we get a pretty good boost in our temperatures. Now, some of the outlying areas are easily down into the low and mid-20s tonight, but we're bottoming out early in town, still at 31 degrees right now as of 9 o'clock. And as we go through the overnight hours, our temperatures kind of bottom out because at this point, we're expecting that southwest breeze to start warming us heading into tomorrow. Average high 40, average low 24. We're pretty close to that today. 25 for the low, 39 for the high. You take that into account, perfectly averaged out for us. Sunset today was at 5 o'clock on Sunday. That's the last time we will have a before or at 5 o'clock sunset until we get into the early part of November. And once daylight saving time clips in after that first weekend of November, then the sun will set before 5 o'clock again. Mid-20s, a few spots in the low 20s tonight, but I think in town upper 20s. Weather impacts here as we go through the week ahead. What is next? It's definitely a warmer Monday with lots of sunshine. That being said, it's also a warmer Tuesday. Not as much sunshine on Tuesday as the clouds roll in. What's changed in our forecast? Well, we've lowered the forecast temperatures Wednesday into this upcoming weekend. It surely looks like there's going to be some Arctic air sliding our way. In fact, as we look here, going towards Wednesday and into Thursday, it cools off Wednesday after being pretty warm Tuesday. And by Thursday morning, some of us could easily be down around 20 degrees, maybe even in the teens. You're looking at some scattered snow showers around the Great Lakes into the northeast. Out west, we continue to see a steady stream of storms sliding on shore, going up into the west coast of Canada, up into Alaska. This is going to carve out a different pattern here as we go through the next few days. And that pattern is one that's going to deliver some colder air to us. Right now, that colder air has been locked up to the north. It does make a run at us. We get our first batch going into Thursday. So Wednesday into Thursday, colder air spills in. That's the first batch. Notice it's a wavy jet stream here. The big dip is to our east. We reinforce that as another area of cold air drops in from Canada, slides our way into the weekend and into early next week. So it does look like the MLK Jr. weekend is going to be a colder one. Temperatures will struggle in some cases to even get above freezing here on Saturday, Sunday, perhaps even into Monday at this point. So we'll have some cold air in place. What does that mean for the chance of snow? Well, you got to get some moisture in there. And what we look at, instead of what you see on social media with all these snow maps with huge amounts that just pop up right and left, people are sharing those. Here's the thing, we're looking at ensembles, okay? So we take variations of the American model, the European model, the Canadian model. It runs in a multitude of variations with different physics, and then we kind of average them all out. And so the American model for this weekend is about 20% of us seeing an inch or more in 24 hours. So that's some, something that would have an impact. Not a few flurries, not a dusting. I suspect we'd end up with easily a few flurries this weekend, but probably not much more than that. European model this weekend says less than 10% chance of seeing an inch or more in 24 hours. Canadian model's 20%. So those numbers are pretty low, right? At this point, this is based off your Sunday morning ensemble runs. We look into next weekend, because we are in a colder pattern. The American model is about 15%, European and Canadian model about 12%. Again, that's going out a pretty good distance. But these percentages, the probabilities of us seeing an inch or more of snow, the only way you're going to do that right now, based on what we see, from a probabilistic standpoint, is if you have a snowmaking machine in your backyard like they do out at Hidden Valley. So they will be able to make some snow here going into Wednesday night and Thursday morning, and probably again going into Friday night and into the upcoming weekend. They will get a good base for the long holiday weekend. So you see temperatures are up and down. We are mostly sunny for your Monday. We'll start around freezing or a little below, but then jump back up above 50 degrees as we go into the afternoon hours. Winds are out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. And again, our sunset right after 5 o'clock. So let's look at Monday in detail here. You're looking at mainly clear skies, so sunshine. Southwest breeze, A few high clouds come through along about the midday. Into the afternoon and evening, a few more high clouds stream across the area. With the winds still out of the southwest overnight Monday night into early Tuesday, that means we don't see temperatures drop much. Tuesday, we'll get those temperatures for a time back above 60 degrees, and then they start to drop off as we go into Tuesday night. Now, Tuesday evening into Wednesday, as the colder air is coming in, we're going with a high of 43 on Wednesday. You may get some sprinkles in here. It doesn't look like a big deal. And there's only a 15 to 20% chance here going Friday into Saturday, and perhaps even into Saturday night of seeing some snow flurries. That's what we see right now. The bottom line is it's more of just cold air than it is anything else. Are we too warm early next week with 38 on Monday for MLK Jr. Day? It's possible. These numbers could be shaved off a few more degrees depending on how that Arctic air is trending in its movement across the bi-state region as we work our way on towards the weekend. So we could still have these numbers come down a little more. We've already trended them in a downward motion here. We're going to see if we don't have to trend them down a little bit more. So Monday and Tuesday are your pick days of the week. If you have something to do outside and want to have some nice weather, that's when you got to do it.